Yeah, I'm at Good Game Studio since November 2014, which is already quite a long while. So I'm almost 7 years, a really long time. And yeah, I am being responsible for game economy related topics and also recently for the in-game shop in our game. That's a tough question, but I think the really first things I did in those games was planning and activating all of the known in-game events, such as Nomad Invasion or the aliens or whatever, right? And so these kind of things were my first tasks in those games. Yeah, I would say there are two big things that I really like and that are really important for me. So the first thing is like the whole economy with the master blacksmith that provides cool rewards in exchange for gold and silver currency that you can obtain from different events. Yeah, it was like a big milestone because it centralized our game economy very much, and so that was a great step. And I think the second, yeah, I would say the second baby that I really love in our games is, of course, the in-game shop, because it's such a polished environment for buying new cool rewards. And yeah, I'm really proud of that it just developed so well and it's a really shiny platform. Whew, yeah, well, there are a lot of situations that are quite hard and difficult to handle, but I think in general one can say that situations where we need to get the economy back under control, for example, if there was kind of unexpected inflow of game currency, players get too much gold currency, for example, or something like that are always hard tasks, right? Because we need to take in a really fast time like decisions that just influences the whole game, and it has a lot to do with game economy and also like balance in the game. And so these decisions are never easy to take, and so these kind of challenges are very big. I really love the jester that is in the lucky wheel or in the wheel of fortune. Um, because he's such a colorful person that has really cool rewards to offer if you are a bit lucky. And I really like also the attitude of being so colorful and just be also a little bit playful. And I think it's also a really good characteristic for anyone who's working at Good Game Studios. So yeah, this one is my favorite one. Yeah, definitely. There are, I would say, like two big things. So I would really like to work more on facilitation of our game currencies to really shrink down our economy to maybe 2 or 3 main currencies in the game. For example, that the whole game exists only of, I don't know, gold currency, silver currency, and then maybe another currency or something like that. And then there should be like a really big and shiny platform where you can exchange those currency into cool rewards. We already started working on that, but I think we can improve on that even more. Yeah, so I think like there are two natural starting points. So the first one, well, that's you, right? So as soon as you give us really helpful feedback, so feedback from the player base can be used in order to see what kind of potentials we might be missing or what things we can do like in our games, right? And that is really essential for our work. Based on that feedback, we can define like follow-up actions, what we can do. Another thing that really helps us is, of course, our own data that we have. So we see basically the player behavior, what they do in the game, and what they like to spend their coins for example, and something like that. And based on that, we can just decide upon for measures in order to balance the economy. That are like the natural starting points. think this question is quite general, and I cannot cover all of the cases, but I think whenever we create a new feature, we need to make sure that it is somehow embedded in our game economy, right? So that it makes sense, like in the overall game and all, that it is connected also to other things in the game, right? So basically one could, for example, say, if the player uses the new feature, he need on one hand spend some game currency, and he also need to get the game currency from somewhere else, right? This is like the usual cycle, and this is basically what I mean. Of course, if we implement, for example, a new event or something like that, then we also need to make sure that the rewards of this new event has to be really meaningful for the players and that they are really attractive for the players. So that's like the one part. But if we have these rewards, we also need to make sure that it is challenging enough to get these rewards. So maybe you have to collect a lot of game currency, or you have to provide a lot of activity and stuff like that. But on the other hand, we also need to make sure that everyone has at least a fair chance to also get these kind of rewards, right? And that is like the second part. And these are, I would say, in a nutshell, the requirements that we always have to look somehow. The most interesting part for me is setting up long-term strategies. Just to decide where in the future we want to go with our game, which kind of decisions will be met in the future and something like that. So basically the process starts here from a blank sheet, right? So and all that is just put on the sheet from your brain, from your head, comes to life after a while, right? And that is the exciting part, right? So you just start like from a basic point, and then like the whole strategy just is filled with life after a while, and that is just like an incredible feeling when you see what happens from a point where nothing was there, like to a point where you have a lot of tons of new features released, and that's really, really great. I really love that. Yeah, the best part of being an economy designer is basically also like the worst part of it. It's the taking the responsibility, because we have to make a lot of hard decisions when it comes to game economy, right? And so it is quite tricky to set up something that just is fine for everyone at the same time. So sometimes it is like, okay, we need to just come up with measures that are helping our economy, but they are not popular to our players because it's more expensive for them or something like that. And so that is basically for me the best part, because it gives me a certain motivation to do my job, and also a certain kind of thrill. And that is actually really great. And so, yeah, although it's sometimes really hard as well.